All right, so this is the model we have for the bronchopulmonary segments. I'm going to go through the colors now. Everything I say is posted on Blackboard on the key, but I told some of you that I'd make a video, so I am. Okay, so the trachea is here in the midline. The trachea bifurcates, and it gives off the right main stem bronchus. It's also called the right primary bronchus, or you call the right main bronchus. 3 names, same structure. Pick one and learn it, or learn all 3, but they're all acceptable. When the right main branches, it gives off secondary bronchi. The secondary bronchi are called lobar bronchi. There are 3 lobes in the right lung: upper, middle, and lower. Superior, middle, inferior. Either way you want to know. Either way you want to learn it, I mean. So on the right side, there's a right upper secondary bronchus. There's a right upper lobar bronchus. Same thing. It's right here. Okay. This structure right here is called the bronchus intermedius. It is the continuation of the right main stem after the right upper secondary bronchus takes off. The bronchus intermedius branches into the right middle lobar bronchus, or the right middle secondary bronchus, and it also gives off the right lower lobar bronchus, the right lower secondary bronchus. I'm going a little slow so I don't misspeak. Okay? When the lobar bronchi branch, when the secondary bronchi branch, they give off tertiary bronchi. Tertiary bronchi are also called segmental bronchi. And on this model, segmental bronchi are the colors, the colors of flexible silicone. Sorry. Sorry about that. So, starting with the right upper lobe, there are 3 bronchopulmonary segments in the right upper lobe. Red is apical, orange is anterior, and pink is posterior. All right, so red is apical. Okay. Orange is anterior. Pink is posterior. Okay, that's the right upper lobe. The right middle lobe has 2 segments, medial and lateral. Yellow is medial. Dirty clear is lateral. So, yellow, medial. And dirty clear, lateral. Okay. The right lower lobe has 5. Okay. On this model, there are 2 shades of blue that actually look pretty different on the screen as far as I can see. But starting with this one here, this one is called fuchsia on our key. Okay. Fuchsia is the segment called medial. Okay. Also, for the right lower lobe, you can use the word basal along with it, and it'll help you remember that it's the base lobe, the lower lobe. So you could say medial basal or basal medial. Both are correct. But it might help you distinguish for instance, this next one, lavender, it's posterior. Both of these actually, same color, same tissue. These are this is the posterior segment. Okay. Calling this posterior basal might help you remember and differentiate it from this pink posterior segment of the right upper lobe. Okay. So fuchsia, medial. There's a light blue and a dark blue. Okay. The light blue represents the anterior segment, and the dark blue represents the lateral segment. And then finally, as I said, purple posterior. Lavender posterior. Sorry. Okay, so fuchsia is medial. Light blue is anterior. Dark blue is lateral. And both lavender colored segments are the posterior. Lavender, 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 lavender. That's the right lower lobe. The left lung has two lobes, upper and lower, superior and inferior. This is the left main stem bronchus. It's also called the left primary bronchus or the left main bronchus. Okay, it gives off the left superior secondary bronchus. It's also called the left superior lobar bronchus. And it gives off the left inferior lobar bronchus. It's also called the left inferior secondary bronchus. Depending on if in development, tertiary bronchi separate to supply the apical and posterior lobes on the left upper lobe, you either have one or two. On this model, there's two. There's a red apical and a pink posterior. Some people have one combined apical-posterior left upper lobe segment. In this model, there are 5 in the superior lobe on the left and 4 in the inferior lobe on the left. The superior, red, is apical, just like on the right. Red is apical. Apex means top. This is the apex of the lung. This is the apical segment on the left and the right. Orange is anterior, right? Just like on the right upper lobe. And pink is posterior, just like on the right upper lobe. Okay? There's a flap of lung tissue in the left upper lobe called the lingula. It's shaped like a tongue. It's analogous to the right middle lobe, but it is not considered a distinct lobe on the left. It's considered part of the left upper lobe, but it's got 2 bronchopulmonary segments. Dirty clear is the superior lingual, and yellow is the inferior lingual. Okay? So superior lingual, inferior lingual, superior lingual, inferior lingual. Okay? Finally, the left lower lobe has 4. Similar to the right side, there's a sea green superior. There's a lavender posterior. Okay. There's a light blue and a dark blue. Okay. I think what you need to, I think here you should sort of put in a break where you say, okay, there's something different here about this one. The left lower lobe has an anteromedial bronchopulmonary segment, anteromedial. And in this model, it's the light blue. And I think if you look at it, you'll see that there is a branch traveling anteriorly. Man, I almost made it through without messing up. There's a branch that travels anteriorly, and if you use your imagination, I think you could see how this branch would travel and supply the medial portion of this lung. The medial portion of the left lung is here. The lateral portion of the left lung is over here. Okay? So this light blue is anteromedial. Anterior, medial. The dark blue is lateral. It's like over there. Okay? So play with this thing in class. This is the model I'm gonna use to test you guys. It's not perfect. It's irritating in a way that we haven't had a key, or that you haven't had access to a key, but it's also a great exercise to go through yourself and figure it out. So that's the bronchopulmonary segments.